Demerol, 7 p.m., Demerol 200 milligrams and midazolam 1 milligram, left upper quadrant. 7:30 p.m., Demerol 100 milligrams and midazolam 1 milligram, right upper quadrant.
And this was at 7 and 7:30 p.m., these two shots?
Correct.
For a total of 300 milligrams of Demerol, right?
Correct.
And 2 milligrams of midazolam.
Correct.
And midazolam in each of these shots were given 30 minutes apart. Is that right?
Correct.
Now let's go to the next day on these records, the 21st of April. Tell us what is reflected on the 21st.
Again, Botox, this time to the groin for excessive perspiration. 10:30 a.m., Demerol 200 milligrams and midazolam 1 milligram IM, left upper quadrant. 11:30 a.m., Demerol 100 milligrams IM, right upper quadrant.
Now, as you see, Dr. Waldman, as you see these days progress, we go from 200 to 300. Is that significant to you as an addiction medicine specialist?
Yes.
And of what significance is that to you?
It implies that he's no longer getting a therapeutic effect from the prior dosage, and this is consistent with the development of tolerance.
Let's go to, now, you have already testified that 200 milligrams that was provided in March would suggest that Michael Jackson was not opioid naive, right?
Correct.
And does that also suggest a physical dependence or tolerance of Demerol?
I don't have prior records, so my assessment would be, again, that those are large doses for an opioid-naive person for a dermatologic procedure in the office. And now we have increasing doses of the same medicines. That is consistent with the development of tolerance to the effect of the smaller dose.
Let's go to the next day. This is the 22nd of April. Can you show us what's reflected by this day, the 22nd of April?
11:30 a.m., Demerol 200 milligrams and midazolam 1 milligram IM, left upper quadrant. 12:30 p.m., 100 milligrams of Demerol and midazolam 1 milligram IM, right upper quadrant. And then at 1:30, Demerol 75 milligrams IM, left upper quadrant.
Can we, Dr. Waldman, can we say that this further represents an escalation in the use of Demerol?
This is a large dose. And yes, there is evidence for increasing dosage.
This dose, this 375 milligrams that were given that afternoon or morning, is that the kind of dose you would expect for Botox?
Answer beyond his area of expertise.
Sustained.
Well, have you ever given Demerol?
Yes.
When did you give Demerol?
Objection relevance wasn't for Botox.
I'm sorry. The objection is sustained. If there's a partial answer, it's disregarded.
Have you ever given 375 milligrams of Demerol?
Objection relevance.
No.
I'll overrule the objection.
No.
Let
me show you the next day, which is the 23rd. This day, we see that Michael Jackson came in and received 100 milligrams, it says, of Demerol, and it says 1 milligram of midazolam. Is that right?
Correct.
So during these 3 periods of days, 22nd, 23rd, and 21st, all total, how much Demerol did Michael Jackson receive?
Please tell me those dates again.
21, 22, and 23?
'21, '22, '23?
Yes.
Those are 3 days? Okay. 300 on the 21st, 375 on the 22nd, makes 675 milligrams, and another 100 on the 23rd, 775 milligrams
In 3 days.
in 3 days.
Let's go on to, thank you. Let's go on to the 27th of April.
By any chance, is there an extra copy? Because
if I had only,
you're getting a lot of mileage.
I know, I agree.
And it's tough to hear counsel when counsel's between mics.
Dr. Wall, how are you with the iPad? Can you do it?
Your Honor, I'm willing to take a shot at it.
No, I don't want you to do that.
I can see it. I just want, I want to make sure I do it exact.
And that's why you should have it in front of you.
Okay,
if
thank
there's
you.
any issue here. That's our responsibility. Just wonder if there's another copy.
Can you use the iPad?
Sure.
All right. May I approach?
You may.
Sure you can. I may go internet and check the sports.
Rather than go through this exercise, it's probably better to just wait a moment and we can photocopy it, back to the old reliable standard. Because we're taking a lot of time on movement. Oh, you got it?
He does.
I do, Judge.
Because you let me know if you think it's preferable to make a photocopy, we can do that very quickly.
We're good. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
This is April 27th. Can you tell us how much Demerol was provided on this day?
11:30 a.m., 200 milligrams IM, and midazolam 1 milligram IM, left upper quadrant. 12:30 p.m., Demerol 100 milligrams, and midazolam 1 milligram IM, right upper quadrant.
300 milligrams.
300 milligrams.
Let's go to April 30th.
You have that, Doctor?
I do.
All right, April 30th, how much Demerol was provided to Michael Jackson on that day?
12:30 p.m., 200 milligrams Demerol IM, and midazolam 1 milligram IM, left upper quadrant. 2:30 p.m., Demerol 100 milligrams, and midazolam 1 milligram IM, right upper quadrant.
All right. May 4th, how much Demerol was provided?
10:30 a.m., 200 milligrams, Demerol 200 milligrams, and midazolam 1 milligram left upper quadrant. 12:30 p.m., Demerol 100 milligrams, and midazolam 1 milligram right upper quadrant.
Dr. Waldman, have you considered, in reviewing these records, have you considered, and I understand that they're based on records alone, have you formed an opinion about whether or not by May 4th, or at least, or even earlier, that Michael Jackson was dependent on Demerol?
Yes,
What is that opinion?
I believe there's evidence that he was dependent upon Demerol.
What about addicted?
Possibly.
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 What would
My
you-
opinion is that based on my prior definition and what's known about his public behavior and this course of treatment, that he was probably addicted to opioids.
Now,